This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org, joined today by one of my favorite Canucks, Dan Dix of PressForTruth.ca, and in this video we are going to be specifically talking about everything that is happening in the Great White North, Canada, the latest updates. Dan does a lot of great work. He pretty much does what we do, but all the way up north in Canada. And what the hell's going on with you Canadians?
A lot going on in Canada right now. The Great White North is slowly turning green as we are legalizing cannabis. Set to happen October 17th. The date has just been set in place for federally legalized cannabis all across the country. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand about that, Luke, is that what's actually happening is a monopolization of the industry behind the scenes by the Liberal government. So they're really getting their ducks in a line right now to essentially wipe out the kind of mom and pops who built the industry in Canada, developing various strains and developing the genetics that help with certain ailments and stuff, wiping out the mom and pops and positioning themselves to completely take over the industry. So that's what we're seeing right now. So yes, it's a step in the right direction. It's a good thing that we're moving in this area. However, I feel we need to move more towards a truly open free market and let everybody, take part in this industry.
Yeah, because obviously governments crashing down your door, coming into your house, arresting you for your safety and protection because you want to inhale a plant is just an asinine, dumb reason. But what do you see happening in the future in Canada with this kind of legalization? I mean, obviously, it is going to be opening up some economic markets. How are they going after the mom and pops, and how is the government going to try to benefit off something that is going to be beneficial to a lot of people?
Well, they've separated. It's been legal for medicinal purposes in Canada since 2001. So now they're bringing in the recreational market. What they want to do, though, is make it so that individual businesses can still operate. However, they wouldn't be able to sell the same cannabis. They would have to be selling government-issued cannabis. And one of the problems people have with this, obviously, is, where are they getting their seed from? Where are they getting their genetics from? Is this something that we can trust? Is this something that's going to have the medicinal benefits reduced in the plant? So that's a huge cause of concern for people. But the way they're really taking over the industry is by slowly shutting down all the dispensaries who are not playing along, and the growers and the developers, the DGs are called, designated growers, who have been growing for people for the last 12 years. They're all being shut down. And the government's only issuing licenses to LPs, they're called, licensed producers, and they just so happen to be all of the government's insider buddies.
Well, so of course they're benefiting off that. There was the case with Rick Emery also up there in Canada. Obviously, Canada has been known for a lot of Americans to get the crazy weed that they go up there, and it's interesting to see this kind of legalization, but also with this little bit twist with the government kind of, we're gonna get a little cut, we're gonna get a little benefit off of this. Which, of course, what do you expect with a government run by Trudeau, who wears funny socks, apologizes for everything? What's the latest with Trudeau? Because there's also been beef with Trudeau and Donald Trump over tariffs. Donald Trump said he had good meetings, and then Trudeau kind of bashes him a little bit. What's happening with the Trudeau-Trump kind of U.S.-Canadian relations up to this current date?
Well, the trade war is getting out of control. We've got a lot of people fighting back against that in Canada. Just recently, actually, there was some young kid, it went kind of viral. He created a website that promotes only Canadian-made products, and it went viral. And now people are getting into this whole Canada-only movement because of these, tariffs. So it's interesting. There is a movement now to buy Canadian and to stop going down to the States to purchase anything. And Canadians are upset about it. I mean, one thing Canadians like a lot is beer. All right, and that is one of the areas that they're going to be affected with greatly. The price of their beer is going to increase significantly. Canadians do not like that whatsoever. They're pushing back right now with this Buy Canadian campaign.
Yeah, it's already extremely expensive to get any kind of legalized government drug, whether it's beer, alcohol, or cigarettes in Canada. Packs of cigarettes are like $17. Beers are like, what, $20 per 6-pack. It's utterly insane what's happening there. But with everything moving forward, how long does Trudeau have in office? Where do you see him taking his supreme leadership of Canada in the next few years? And what do you see next happening in the kind of transition of power? Is Canada more in line with kind of the social justice warrior aspects and policies that he's been pushing, or are they kind of going up against it in the next kind of power shift that's going to happen in that country?
I see a lot of them falling right in line with it. I feel that the country is being infiltrated by a social justice warrior himself. Justin Trudeau himself is a social justice warrior. I mean, he self-identifies as a feminist, and I think, he's going to most likely get elected next year. And, they say legalization is coming in October, but they pushed that back so many times. So it's possible that may still get pushed back so that he can use the weed ticket again on the campaign trail to say, look, guys, it was out of my hands, but this time, I promise you, if you just vote me in, I will legalize it this time around. So either way, it's not looking good for the future of Canada. We know, with Bill C-16, Bill 89, his focus on the LGBT community, the trans rights community. He's marching around today at the Pride Festival. He doesn't have the greater Canadian people's interests at heart, and so it's not looking good for the future of Canada. But I regrettably admit that it's probably likely he'll get in again.
And it's very also funny to see him kind of catering to the social justice warrior and then them eating him alive and him also facing charges against him of sexual misconduct and sexual misuse. Can you get into just that a little bit? And also the fact that Canada is very involved in this kind of social justice kind of push, and they're also accepting white helmets, Syrian fighters who, a lot of them were pictured fighting with radical Islamists in Syria, to be relocated to Canada and to live amongst a lot of other Canadians. Can you get into that kind of policies that he's been pushing?
Sure, that's a huge problem that Canadians have with what he's doing. When he invited the 25,000 Syrians who are fleeing war-torn countries, that's one thing. But when he's kind of turning a blind eye to illegal border crossings, particularly at the Quebec border, I think there are upwards of 400 people a day or something like that coming over. And the latest, just a few days ago, the Liberal government announced they're going to be supplying $11 million for hotels for some of these illegal immigrants in downtown Toronto. I mean, it's unreal what he's been doing, and the Canadian people are not happy about it.
Yeah, he made a statement saying Canada is open for refugees. So refugees started coming into Canada. We were there on the border between New York and Canada, where Haitians from the United States were rushing into Canada because of Donald Trump's immigration policy that was becoming more critical of people who fled the Haitian earthquake. And literally what happened was they had to set up an entire arena inside of Canada to relocate people and to process them into seeking refugee status. And obviously the whole situation was extremely gray, but literally the Canadians built a little passageway on a little lake that divided Canada and the United States so people could just walk through. They were immediately detained, processed, and sent to an arena. And then they're going to have to spend there sometimes between months, sometimes between even as long as a year or two to get processed, have an immigration case, and then the Canadian government will decide whether they're allowed to stay here or not, whether their refugee status is okay or not, which pissed off a lot of people who are pro-immigration because they're like, dude, you said Canada's open for refugees. So how do you see Canada evolving? Do you see Canada accepting a lot of these Haitian refugees or sending them back on the Canadian taxpayer bill back to Haiti?
No, I see them accepting a lot of them. I think he's going to continue to have that stance of the, we welcome you with open arms. And that's what he's going to continue to do. And I don't think it's going to really matter where people are coming from or what their intentions are coming into Canada. He'll be continuing that that open kind of border policy, essentially. So, and on your note, on the point you touched on earlier with the sexual harassment allegations, this is something pretty major because he was going around during the Me Too, hashtag Me Too movement, saying, well, we have to believe women, you have to believe her when she says that no matter what. And then all of a sudden it comes out allegations against him. A girl saying she was sexually harassed by him. And that's when he kind of changed his tune a little bit. So sheer hypocrisy coming from the Canadian government, and how he deals with people kind is sad.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of male feminists are being called out, and we're finding out that a lot of them are the biggest predators out there. Just like we're seeing in all aspects of society, the people pushing racist ideologies or anti-gay ideologies, usually the opposite is true of who they really are as a human being, and they're using that as a defense mechanism to hide their true things that they believe society will judge them on. So that was very interesting and very fascinating. Anything else, Dan, you want to say about Canucks? Why isn't there more controversy with poutine, the weird French fries and gravy you guys eat, since it's so close associated to Putin? That should have been banned a long time ago by you Canucks. Any last words, Dan?
If you haven't tried poutine, you got to try it. This is actually a really, really tasty Canadian treat.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's actually quite good. I don't eat that kind of stuff anymore myself, but trust me, it's good.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that was it. It was great to be here on the front lines with you once again in Portland, Oregon, covering the clash we've been seeing between the left and the right. And look forward to seeing you on the front lines again soon.
All right, that's Dan Dix of Press for Truth. Free Dix hashtag. Me and him hang out on many different places. When we were arrested, that hashtag went all over the world, and it should have for a very specific reason. Follow Dan. His YouTube channel will be in the description below. Thank you, all you amazing, beautiful human beings who enable us to do this, to have these conversations, to speak freely and openly with our minds not being censored or controlled by any strings, puppets, money, or interest. With your donations and your support. Again, thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for a lot more here on youtube.com/we are change.